Hey guys, my name is Shubhanshan Bhaskar, and today in this video I'm going to be showing you how to create this clean Netflix web/UI design in Adobe XD. So now without wasting our time, let's get started. So for now, click on File menu and create a new project. You can choose web design so that the resolution is 1920 by 1080. Now once you have done that, you can simply zoom in and zoom out of your project by holding down Ctrl key on your keyboard, and then you can use the scroll wheel of your mouse to zoom in and zoom out of your project window. After doing that, you have to simply color the background, so you go to the fill option and type the code 0E0E0E and hit enter. So that will give you a nice black/grayish background. Next, we are going to create the sidebar of our Netflix design. So you go to the line option like this, create a line, and then you can drag it and place it right here, so that gives us a nice little space for our sidebar like this. After that, we are going to import the Netflix logo. So go to File, choose Import, and then import the Netflix logo. You can get one from Google by getting a PNG file of the logo like this. Now you have to resize it, so you have to hold down Shift key on your keyboard and resize it using the transform controls in the given window like this, and then you can drag it and place it anywhere you want. So we are going to place it at the top left corner, leaving some space at the bottom and the sides like this. Next, what we are going to do is create the menus. So using the text option, write the text menu, choose the font as Proxima Nova, and with the help of the move tool, you can simply move it. What we are going to do is change the color to white like this, and we are going to change the opacity to around 50% like this. Once we have done that, we can simply move it just below the logo like this, leaving a little space right here. Next, hit the text tool again and write the text browse like this. Now using the move tool, simply place it just below the menu text right here. After doing that, go to File, Import, and then import the icon for the browse text. You can get as many icons as you want from flaticons.com. You can search for any icon you want. We're gonna search for compass, click on the icon that we like, and then download the SVG file from the website. Once you have done that, you can simply import it in Adobe XD and resize it as you want. So now with the help of the move tool, we are simply gonna resize it by holding down Shift key on our keyboard and then resizing it using the transform controls provided in the window like this, and we are just gonna place it beside the browse option. Simply change the color to E50914. That will give a really nice red color like this. Let's increase the size a bit. Make sure you are holding down Shift key on your keyboard so that it equally resizes the icon like this, and we're gonna move the browse text a little bit on the right. Once you have done that, select the browse text, hold down Alt key on your keyboard and make a duplicate layer by using your left click of your mouse, and rename it as favorites like this. With the help of the move tool, place it just below the browse option, change the color to white, and hit the opacity as 50%. And in the same way, simply import an icon from the flaticons.com website, change the color to white, and hit the opacity to around 50%. Once you have done that, resize the icon by holding down Shift key on your keyboard and placing it just below the compass icon like this. Now you know what you have to do, so I'm simply gonna fasten the process and meet you when the sidebar is done. Once we are done with that, we have to create a search option. So hit the rectangle tool right here, create a rectangle any size, don't worry. Now in the rectangle properties, uncheck the box of fill because we don't want any fill inside it. Select border, and with the help of these little dots inside the rectangle, you can simply create rounded corners by holding down and bringing them to the middle like this. Once we have created a rectangle, simply with the help of the move tool resize it and align it with the logo. Now go to file, import, and now we are going to import the arrows for the back and forward buttons. So simply import the left arrow, which you can download from Flat Icons, give it a white color, resize it like this by holding down Shift key on your keyboard, and then with the help of the move tool simply place it just on the side of the box. Now in the same way, import the right arrow as well, give it white color and resize it. Now go to the fill option, give it a white color and set the opacity to around 50% and place it just on the right side of the left arrow like this. After doing that, go to file, import, and import the search icon like this, resize it, and then place it inside the rectangle that we had just created like this. Now duplicate the browse text layer like this, rename it as search, and you can add 3 dots as well like this, resize it and place it inside the box right here. Now select the rectangle tool to create a small rectangle like this, place it on the edge of the browse menu and give it a color of E50914. Place it on the edge of the browse text like this, so that gives a nice highlighted color as well. Now duplicate the line by selecting the line and then holding down Alt key on your keyboard, and with the help of the left click of your mouse you can simply move it to the other side so that we can leave space for the stories, as you can see in the preview as well, like this. Now next we are going to create a slideshow, so hit the rectangle icon and then create a big rectangle like this. Make the corners rounded using the little dots inside the rectangle like this. Now next we are going to import an image for the rectangle as well. Simply select the rectangle image, resize it and place it just above the rectangle like this. Once we have done with that, simply click on this button right here so that we can see all the layers. Select the rectangle as well as the image by holding down Ctrl key on your keyboard. You go to object and then click on mask with shape. Now you can see that we had just created a mask group, so double click on it and select the image so that we can resize it as we want, like this. Now hit the text tool and write the name of the show. So I'm gonna write Narcos. Once we have done with that, we are going to use a font called Sego UI. You have to select it all and then change the font to Sego UI like this, and then we are going to increase the size and set the font type to bold. Now duplicate the browse text layer by holding down Alt key on your keyboard and then change the text to 2015-2 season, so that will tell us at the year that the show has been launched. Now with the help of the move tool, simply place it just below the name of the show. As you can see, we are not able to see the text that we had just created, so go to the layers, select the text and drag it on the top of the layers like this so that it comes above the rectangle, and now you can see it as well. Next we are going to create buttons like in the preview. So go to the rectangle option, create a rectangle, corner around the edges like this, change the color to B70C14, so that will give us a really nice red color like this. Now with the help of the move tool, simply place it just below the text that we had just created and then resize it. Once you have done with that, duplicate the browse text again, change the text to watch now, place the watch now layer at the top of the rectangle layer so that we can see the text like this. Close the text layers option and resize and place the text just in the middle of the rectangle button that we have just created. After doing that, select the rectangle, hit the shadow option and change the color to B70C14. Set the value to 5 and let's set the opacity to around 100% like this. So that will give us a really nice drop shadow, as you can see. Now select the rectangle tool again and create another rectangle like this. Round the corners. That's it. Now fill it with the black color and set the opacity to around 30. And with the help of the move tool, you can simply move it and place it like this. After doing that, duplicate the favorites icon by holding down Alt key on your keyboard and using the left click of your mouse like this. Go to the layers panel and move the favorites icon layer to the top and then simply move it and place it inside the rectangle. After doing that, simply change the favorites icon color to white and set the opacity to 100%. Now for the slider navigation bars, select the rectangle tool again and create another rectangle like this. Round the corners like this, resize it, change the color to white, and then with the help of the move tool, simply place it just above the slider like this. Once you have done that, duplicate that rectangle, resize it and place it like this, and once again duplicate that same rectangle again and place it just on the side of it like this. Once you have done that, set the opacity to two of those rectangles to 50% like this, and that will give you a navigation bar for the slider as well. Now hit the text tool again and write a text called continue watching like this. Resize it, decrease the font size like this, and set the font type to semi-bold. Now simply align the text and choose the rectangle tool again to create another rectangle and round the top corners by holding down Alt key on a keyboard so that it only rounds the corners that you have selected like this. After doing that, simply align it with the text and resize it and place it just below the text like this. Once you have done that, simply press Ctrl D on your keyboard to duplicate the layer and then move it like this. Duplicate the layer again so that you can create 3 rectangles like this. Once you have done that, simply import the images for these rectangles. So go to import, select any image of the show you want, resize it, place it just over the rectangle, then go to the layers panel, select the first rectangle and the image as well by holding down Ctrl key on a keyboard, then go to object and click on mask with shape to create a mask group like this. Now in the same way, do that for all the other rectangles and I'll meet you when it's done. So once you have done that, simply duplicate the browse text layer by holding down Alt key on the keyboard, change the text to the name of the show like this and place it just below the rectangle like this. Do the same for all the other rectangles and give it a name and place the text just below each rectangle. After doing that, select the rectangle tool, create another rectangle like this. Around the corners, go to the fill option and change the color to a nice red color. So I'm going to choose E50914. That will give a really nice red color. Resize it and place it just below the name of the show. Do it for all the other rectangles and set different lengths for each rectangle, and I'll meet you when it's done. Once you have done that, simply duplicate the continue watching layer, place it just below the rectangles and rename the text as watch party. After doing that, simply go to the rectangle tool again and then create another rectangle around the edges like this. Fill the color with black and then set the opacity to around 50 to 80%. After doing that, simply resize it and place it just below the watch party. Once you have done that, simply duplicate these rectangles and I'll meet you when it's done. Now as you can see, we have these three rectangles and now we need the text inside it. Simply duplicate the layer again, change the text to any name of the show like this and place it inside one of the rectangles. You have to do it for all the other rectangles. If you are not able to see the text behind the rectangle, simply go to the layers panel and change the position of the text. In the same way, duplicate the text and do it for all the other rectangles. Once you have done that, simply go to File, then go to Import and import the notification icon and as well as the message icon. Once you have imported the icon, set the color to white and set the opacity to 50%. After doing that, hold down Shift key on your keyboard and resize it as you want. After doing that, simply place it right here. Do the same with message icon as well and align it perfectly. Once you have done that, select the ellipse tool and create a nice little circle like this. Make sure the edges are exactly same like this. Now go to import and import an image as well. So I'm going to choose this one. You can download as many images as you want from unsplash.com. Now with the help of the move tool, simply resize the image like this and place it just above the rectangle. Once you have done that, simply select the image as well as the circle that you had just created, go to object and then click on mask with shape like this. After doing that, simply resize the image as you want right here and then simply move the group and resize it as you want. With the help of the move tool, simply place it right here. We are going to decrease the size like this. Now move the message and the notification icon as well so that it gives a little space for the name right here. Now duplicate the text layer, rename it as welcome, place it right here. Now duplicate the browse layer, rename it as your name. So I'm gonna type Shubhransh and I'm just gonna place it just below the welcome layer. Once you have done that, we are going to create the stories part of the Netflix UI. Select the ellipse tool again so that we can create another circle like this. Make sure the width and height of the circle are same so that it creates a perfect circle. After doing that, simply move it and resize it as you want by holding down Shift key on your keyboard so that it resizes it perfectly. Once you have done that, simply resize it and place it as you want right here. After doing that, duplicate the circle and create as many circles as you want. So I'm gonna create 4 for now and make sure they are perfectly aligned to each other like this. After doing that, what you need to do is import images for all of these circles. So I'm gonna meet you when it's done. As you can see, now we are done with the stories. You can simply select all of them and simply place it in the middle. Now if you want to create a highlighted stories, you can simply select the ellipse tool, create another circle right here. Make sure the width and height are same right here. Uncheck the box of fill, select the border and set the size to around 5 and change the border color to a nice red color, which is E50914. Once you have done that, simply resize it and place it just above the circle that we had just created so that it will give a highlighted story version. Once we have learned to do that, you can simply create another highlighted story versions, as many as you want, like this. You can duplicate the layers and place it just above the circles, like this. Now next we are going to do is select one of these circles that we have just created for the stories and duplicate the layer by pressing Ctrl+D on our keyboard, and then resize it and place it just after the name of the shows in watch party, so that we can know who all are watching the show. You can use as many icons as you want and place it just after the name of the show. Once we are done with that, I'll meet you back. So as you can see, we are now done with the watch party as well, and with that we are now done with the Netflix web/UI design. So that's how you can create a nice and minimal clean UI design in Adobe XD. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. Please like, comment and share it with your friends. Have fun. Bye bye.